What's up, Giants?
We're catching ourselves mid-sentence here. Good
Yeah,
morning, guys.
I had to stop talking because I was talking about something completely different than
We almost
anything.
went straight trucker mouth on you for a minute.
Whoop whoop.
So guys, we're thinking that moving forward, we're gonna post these a little later in the morning. We've been looking, and here's our strategy behind this. One, it's for you, so you can wake up. But two, our goal is to get as many eyes on our videos as possible. There's number two. And so Facebook says that the best time to post is going to be right around 10 a.m. And so our hope is that with the new algorithms with Facebook that we get our videos in front of more of you. And so we want you to get this message because we think it's pretty awesome. It's all right. It's all right. Another announcement here is Ryan and I partnered with Dr. Rachel Smart, who's a naturopathic doctor who's absolutely incredible. And she showed us how to get all of our fruits and vegetables like every single day so easy without having to go to the store for actually less money than you would have to spend to go to the store and buy the groceries. And they don't go bad. Mine always, whenever I get them, they always go bad in my fridge. I get moldy tomatoes. It's not good. I don't want to eat those. But this is this is my vegetables. Oh, I got a green screen going. But I get broccoli, parsley, tomato, carrot, garlic, beet, spinach, cabbage, lemon peel, rice bran, and kale. All right there. So if you're interested in that, want to look into that more, you can learn more about Dr. Smart and what she's up to here. You can follow that link. And that's it. We do have some sponsors and people that we work with to make these shows a possibility, and so we wanted to share that with you. And that break.
And the nice thing is too. So it fits right in with the things that we're doing with, as a giant, creating a whole person. And so we talk about getting fit with giants. We've got a Facebook group, Get Fit with Giants. Falls right in line with healthy, positive, balance, all that kind of stuff.
Well, you're eating the gummy bears things that they give. Those are supposed to be for your kids. So but they taste so good. Like
this was supposed to be a judgment-free zone.
My kids come home and they're like, "Dad, where are the gummies at?" I'm like, "Which ones? The marijuana gummies?"
Yeah,
or
the gummies. Kids, we need to have a conversation.
Yeah, you need to lay off those. Dad, we saw Jesus today. I think you're taking the wrong ones.
Yeah, those are the wrong gummies. The left side of the cabinet, kids.
That's awesome. So tell me, what are we talking about today?
I think what was on my mind is struggles, because I struggle a lot. Ask my wife. Difficulties, roadblocks. What do you do when those come up in your life? How do you handle those, those different things? I don't know. What are some tips, tricks, guides? I mean, ready from the wise lips of Nick Smith. Ready, go.
Wait, did you say wise? I'm not
Are
wise.
there wise lips?
Nope, man. I'm always learning. There's one thing I like your gimbal. It's just like, I'm done.
He's like, hold on. I have a roadblock. You keep. Well, no, don't hold on.
No, this is great. So yeah. One of my mentors, Steve Hardison, he just posted this morning about mastery, and that one of his versions or definitions of mastery is always being the student, like never knowing it all. And I don't ever want to know it all. And so this is just a perspective. And there's probably other perspectives. If you want to share in the comments, please do, because you might have some ways that could help somebody that's watching this video. But okay, here's a thought that comes up there. When I was in Bolivia, I was on a mission a long time ago. Not my thing anymore, but used to be at one point. But there was a kid. he said, that was a big airplane. And another kid said, yeah, everything's big when you're right up next to it. And I thought, man, I could say that about my phone. My screen is small. Oh, there it is. It's huge now, right? Just put it right up to your face. Zoom in, zoom in, zoom in. But when we look at our
perspective,
problems,
I guess, right?
yeah, you look at your problems, and when you're right up next to your problems, they seem really big. And so one of the thoughts I was having this morning is, like on Google Maps, you come up to a roadblock and it can reroute you, but to see it, you kind of have to zoom out, right? You have to jump above it, rise above it, zoom out, and take a view from the whole picture and really look at it. Sometimes as an individual, that can be hard to do for yourself. And so I like to get on the line and what is it called? The lifeline, right?
Yeah.
Call the lifeline. You got two lifelines,
Phone
like
a friend.
game shows. Yeah, phone a friend. A lot of times I'll do that, or I'll lean into a book to help me step back and get some perspective. Because the problem is we're too close to the issue. When we're seeing it as a struggle and a problem, usually it's like right in our face. I mean, this is a little crappy right here. You know, in my house, I have a fly problem. Not something I want to have in my house. But these little flies are tiny, like fruit flies. And I've been working on getting rid of them, but those little suckers will get right in my face. And I've never wanted to hurt something so bad in my life as a little fruit fly that has so much power over me. It could sit in my face and capture my whole attention. And it's tiny. And I think of that for life, is that we look at our struggles and problems so focused that we can't see any other solutions. I mean, what are you hearing in that?
Exactly what I needed to hear. Because that happens to me. I think that happens to everybody. I think that I don't know that there's really a way to make that not happen. I think that it's the response time and what you allow and accept, and how long you let that capture your attention, and how quickly maybe you can even go through those steps of pausing, stepping back, changing your perspective, right? A little bit.
What do you think of this? What do you think of this analogy? Think like a fly swatter. Smack that shit.
Just whack.
We're done.
Yeah. But you recognize, hey, look, here's this roadblock, here's this distraction, here's this issue, whatever it is going on. Step back quickly, as quickly as possible, because I think the faster that you do that, the faster you learn to rise above the issue.
Yeah.
The faster that growth can take place, and you can. We talked about a giant's view. That's part of it. Stepping from a different angle. It's just maybe relating it to roadblocks.
I was watching. There's a documentary online about the social dilemma, and it talks about how social media at one point was super helpful for people. It was making connections all around the world, and then they found that they could manipulate people's decisions and behaviors by creating algorithms that would push you to make a certain decision. And some of these struggles and roadblocks that we have, you have to wonder, like, am I seeing the world the way it really is? Or am I looking for agreement in the world? If I think something's a problem and then I Google, why is this a problem? I'm going to get results that say this is why that's a problem. And
your brain's the same way. Doesn't it support, like, once you decide or make a stand on some issue or some something that you think about, or have maybe I don't know, just you have your view towards, and then your brain starts finding anything it can to support the reason why that's true, or the decision, or justify it.
Yeah, we look for agreement in the world. We look for agreement. So we have a way of seeing things. We have a truth. And based on that truth, we start believing that the world operates that way. So we look for agreement. And if we see something that doesn't agree with it, and we're like, that's not the truth. But how? Because you're just looking at it from your truth. The roadblock really could to somebody else be not a big deal, but you're looking at like it's the end of the world. Like this whole COVID thing, some people are looking at it like it's the end of the world and our freedoms are being taken away, and others are looking at it as, man, there's so many opportunities right now, and others are like, I don't care, it's not a big deal, it doesn't affect me. And so there's all these perspectives. Wouldn't you think that if there was one solid truth for everything, that we would all see it
Right.
the same way? Like the sun comes up in the east and sets in the west. We can all see that. But somebody comes along and says, nah, I want to believe that the sun comes up in the west and sets in the east. And you're like, all right, dude, go for it. And they're like, I'm really frustrated because the sun keeps coming up in the east. And I'm pissed because I know that the sun comes up in the west and it sets in the east, but it keeps coming up in the east. It's like, dude, you're like creating a lot of your issues because you're opposing what is. You're not accepting that this is what is. It's not, there are some things that perspective can shift it, but there are other things that are, they just are.
Mm-hmm.
So the frustration that we feel, the suffering that we feel a lot of times is just us like bumping up against what is, not accepting it. What do you hear? Yeah.
I don't know. I just think that all these things, I mean, we run through, we just had a roadblock or an issue, and I had a choice to make. I could hurry and grab my gimbal, adjust my screen, try to make my hand as steady as possible, get a different view of my garage. Some of you have seen this view already.
Well, the thing is that the only person that's worried about that is right there behind the camera.
And probably, and then that's why I was like, we're just gonna roll with this,
Yeah.
And not gonna let it bother me. We have more shows. We'll get better.
Oh, man. But that frustration, like that anger about this didn't go right. This didn't go the way I wanted. A lot of times it's this fear of what will others think, or what might occur if this happens. Like I think back on some of our shows, and it's like we've had some of the worst tech issues on our shows. And it's like, holy crap. I remember Paul Cardall's show. We get on the TV and everything's set to go. And then Zoom has a freaking nationwide outage and we don't have a backup plan. And I start freaking out inside. And Ryan over there is like, dude, it's okay. We're going to be all right. We're going to figure this out. And so we jump over to StreamYard, which is what we use now. And there will be something better that comes along, I'm sure, or this will improve. But we came up, instead of just sitting in the mire of like, this sucks and why is this happening to me? We just immediately went to solutions. All right, we got a show to do. How are we going to do it? And that's where I think if you've got a struggle or a roadblock, well, don't just sit there looking at the roadblock. Like start with some kind of a solution.
Yeah, action, movement, that all ties in there too.
Yeah, one step. I mean, move right. If the roadblock's in front of you, move right. Like physically.
Lamar talked about that, right, in the river.
Yeah.
Move
right. Yeah, he didn't tell what you're thinking of right there with Lamar.
So if you go back and watch Wake Up with Giants TV, we interviewed a giant and Lamar Norwood, right? Is that his last name?
Yeah.
Lamar is an amazing guy. He's full of he loves to tell stories and he's just very relatable. And he talked about a river and how life is kind of like a river, and there's stones or boulders and things like that in the river that represent roadblocks or challenges and things like that. And you have choices to make when those roadblocks come up. Well, you can go around those boulders or roadblocks. Sometimes you even need to pause, stand still and let things pass, let the river go by, and
Yeah.
then move forward. There was all kinds of great analogy, or applications to that analogy.
He said too, as long as you keep crossing the river, you'll never touch the same water twice.
Right.
Unless you float downstream with that water, and then you're in it, right? And so as long as you keep stepping, life flows and it just keeps going. And the beauty of it is that all things pass. At some point, all of us are going to die, and none of these issues that we have are going to matter at some point. 100 years from now, 150 years from now, we're all gone. We're not here anymore. So it may not end tomorrow or today or the next day, but at some point it all stops. But for the most part, most challenges that we face stop at some point. I've had some challenges where it was 10 years and I'm like, this is never going to end. My life is never going to get better. And guess what? It did. It did get better. Yeah, no hope. Sorry, guys. No, it got better. Like it was 10 years, but it got better. And it took some cleaning up to do, and it took some effort, and it took some, patience and persistence. At any point, I could have given up. At any point, any of us could have given up. But you just show up and you keep pushing play. Good old Tony Horton P90X. Keep pushing play.
I love that.
I don't know. Does that help, man? Is that kind of?
Yeah, that's right. All of that was right with what I was feeling and thinking, and started thinking about all the roadblocks and challenges that we've gone through, that we face even still.
Yeah.
I liked how you touched on the point that something had to change. Something had to change. That was pretty powerful right there, because sometimes that's self-reflection and looking in the mirror and saying, okay, what needs to change right here, right here.
Oh,
and then
I'm having thoughts here. We're gonna go for a minute.
Spread them out, share them.
Yeah. I look at the world right now, and until we take ownership of our responsibilities and our role in everything that's going on, and we start to think of other people not as ownership, but as people that matter to us, then we will act differently toward them. And I look at the challenge that we're all seeing right now with the riots and the fires and the coronavirus and all these things, and people are really scared. And our economy is on the verge of kind of a bubble where there might be some issues economically for people. Until we start making people matter in our lives, they don't matter. We're not going to do anything to serve them until we take ownership of ourselves and our responsibility in that, and we start to make them matter. And in a sense, we take ownership of our interaction with them.
Yeah.
Right. Because as long as they don't matter, we can do some really terrible things to other people. And so if we start getting into in groups and out groups, this whole idea of political parties. So let's see what happens with the election this year. Whether you're Republican, Democrat, Libertarian, it doesn't matter. We're all humans. But you get into in groups and out groups and you start hating people because they're different, that's on you. I mean, I'm getting on a little box here over this. Is like, until we take ownership of ourselves and our response with other people, then we can do some real harm to other people in the name of being right. And I think that's a roadblock for us to move forward as a society. I think we really need to start making people matter, and making, whether they're our political party or not, our religious affiliation or not, our race or not, that they matter, that they're people. We
talked about this too. I think if you're deeply ingrained in something, in a habit, and that could be your thoughts, could be your convictions, could be so strong that you fail to see other people's view or perspective, and that they do matter.
Right.
I would imagine that, at least for me, when I feel anger and I feel, like somebody doesn't agree with me or whatever, I feel like it helps when I stop and I look at that person and break all the other stuff aside, just kind of put it aside, and then starts saying, how are they like me? And then you start listing out all the reasons why that they, maybe it's, look, they have arms, they have legs, just we said this the other day too, what you're grateful for yourself. Maybe you look at others the same way,
Right.
and start finding common things that are good and great, and then
Right. Rise above.
start rising
Right.
above.
Like rise above it all. Really look at the overall picture. Like do that overview like astronauts do, and look down at the earth as a whole. There's no lines, there's no political affiliations, there's no race, there's no gender inequalities, like none of it. You look at the earth as a whole, we're all people. And so really rise above it. I get that sometimes we're going to have that upfront perspective where the fly's in our face and we got to deal with it. But at the same time, we can have some patience through that and not take that on, because it really has nothing to do with you. What has to do with you is what's going on inside of you. Like you get to choose what goes on with you. Nobody can hurt you. You can only hurt yourself with what other people do. They might physically beat you, but the mental part of that, taking that on is they hurt me, is you saying that I took what they did and I hurt myself with it. And you can change that. So taking ownership of it. And so rising above it and just seeing, look, there's a different way to see all of this. Zoom out. Like if you're on the freeway and you got a roadblock, you can either sit in it and listen to some music and chill out, or you can zoom out and find a workaround. Right? Like it doesn't have to be an issue. I'm not going to say I'm perfect though at it. I know you and I both struggle. Every morning we get up and we're like, some days we feel great, some days we feel pretty shitty, but we keep going, right?
But I took my fruits and vegetables and I'm feeling a little better than I was 10, 15 minutes ago.
Yeah. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Well, good. Any other thoughts on this one? We went a little long.
No, just grateful for all the giants out there, and all the giants in training, and the people that are working on growing and stretching and becoming better people. We need you. So
yeah, big time. Yeah, keep sharing the book, keep sharing the message. Share these videos with your friends, post them on your wall. Share the book link. Go get your own if you haven't got it yet. Go order.
Yeah, get your own affiliate link. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Nicole.
Yeah.
She shared just the Shopify link, and she had her own affiliate link, and she's a humble, amazing giant.
Yeah, guys, we want you to make money with it too. We pay $5. About it's 25% of the book sell. So whatever that is, it usually ends up being about $5 a book if you want to earn some extra money. I have a lady in the UK right now that can't get work, and she's stuck at home, and she's looking for anything to make additional money right now because there aren't opportunities like we have. And so if you know somebody that could benefit from promoting our books, I mean, we pay in US dollars, like that can go a long way around the world. So help us spread the message. We've got plenty of books out there to move. So
unless you want to get paid in high fives or virtual hugs.
We'll take that too. Okay, guys, we appreciate you. Make it a giant day. We'll see you in the next video.
See you guys. Have a good one.